Hi, everybody, and welcome to the hot seat with Nayaonfiya. It has been a very long time. I guess I've been gone for about a year, but coming back now, we've had some amazing additions to our team. So, with that being said, we have new and exciting interviews coming up with new players on the USA women's rugby team. So, on that topic, we have our first guest after this long break that we just had. She played rugby in Utah and then went on to play in college at Life University. And now she is here with us at the USA Rugby organization. Without further ado, we have Spiff Sedrick. Say hi, Spiff.
Hi, everybody.
So I've seen Spiff's face a lot, but I haven't seen her play much. And, like I don't know much about you. So you were probably
Yeah,
one of the first people out of the new group of girls who I was like, okay, I think she's somebody that I want to interview, especially with you getting rostered for Dubai, which I think is an incredible accomplishment to come in for your first year as a resident and go on your first tournament right away. That's very
thank
dope.
you.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
No
Yeah,
problem.
I'm really excited.
Good. So thank you so much for being here. And are you ready to get into this interview?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the first thing we start off with on the hot seat is the big top five. So what the big top five is that you are going to tell us five things that you think that people should know about you.
Okay. Things people should know about me besides the obvious. Um, I have a dog named Mose. He's a Shih Tzu poodle, and he's gonna be 11 in January. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. He's the best. His name's Keegan. Um, I'll put Alfredo sauce on almost anything. Like I will have chicken nugget Alfredo, which is like the only thing I ever ate in college, probably because it was so cheap and it was the only thing I can cook. I can't cook. I guess that can be my fourth thing is I'm trash at cooking. Don't know how to do any of it. I watch Hell's Kitchen, but it doesn't help me learn at all. And my last thing, I don't like loose hair. Like I can't if there's like a loose hair on me, like it's gross. I start gagging. I can't do it. I don't know why. Like on that, anywhere else doesn't bother me, but if it's just out, yeah, I can't do it.
I think I noticed that phobia when we were at the breakfast table one morning.
Yeah, and
I thought you
I
were
can't.
joking.
No, I can't do it. I don't know
So
why.
in your marriage, who cooks? Does
The
Keegan cook?
center cooks,
Oh,
and
it's both of you.
no, yeah, I'll like bring home like protein and stuff. He has his own meal prep. He's
Mm,
really active. He's on a his own plan, so
okay.
we'll prep like rice and beef and chicken for him at the beginning of the week. But I have an air fryer and an Instapot, so that makes it a lot easier. But other than that, like anything past what can't be cooked in an air fryer and an Instapot, I can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I meal prep as well in the air fryer. I literally cook everything in there outside of the
Yeah.
rice, and it's very easy. But I will say, I also love cooking outside,
Mm.
um, and I can cook some pretty good things. So maybe I can try to help you out with some of that.
Yeah.
So those are the top five things that you need to know about Spiff. Now we're going to go into the base questions. I have about four questions that I want to ask you. The first one is, where did the name Spiff come from? That's an interesting one.
People will ask me that a lot, and I'm like trying to think back on when it first started. I grew up doing gymnastics,
Mm.
and I think it started as like a joke when I was really young. I'd be like, "Oh, that's so spiffy, that's so spiffy," and then like people would start calling me spiffy, and it was like just a joke. And then some of my friends from gymnastics when I lived in Texas had come to visit in Utah and like had said it in front of some of my other teammates, and then they were like, "That's so funny," and then it kind of stuck into high school. I played high school volleyball, and it like I just would always just be like, "Oh, my name's Beth," whatever. And then in rugby, it stuck. And now, like when people call me Alex, I'm like, "Who? Oh, me." Yeah. Sometimes I'll get like on the roster will come up and it'll say like Alex, and I'm looking for Smith, and I'm like, I didn't make it. I'm like, oh wait, that's also my name.
And that's like, I never knew your real name until I was getting prepared for this interview and trying to find out information about you. And I was like, shit,
Oh,
like
yeah.
I don't know her real name. So I'm like, Sedrick Rugby. And it popped up as Alex. So I was like, okay.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
feel like nicknames are a thing in rugby. I never
Mhm.
got one. And I wanted to say it was because my name is so short, but your name is short. We have the same amount of letters in our name. So
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Nayaonfiya, that can be
I know,
your
but nobody really
extended.
calls me that. That's like long as hell,
It
you
is.
know?
Yeah, it's too long to be yelling on the field. I'll stick
Yeah, I
with
think
Naya.
so too. Yeah. The next question I have for you is when and how did rugby come into your life?
So like I said, I played volleyball in high school, and one of my teammates' sisters was on the rugby team for our high school, and she was like, "Volleyball season's ending. Are you gonna join another sport?" And I hadn't really thought much about it because I was gonna play club volleyball. And then she was like, "We only have 13 people on our team. Like, if we don't get somebody else, like, they're not gonna continue funding for our team." And so I was like, "Okay." And it was for 15s. So I was like, "Okay, I'll try it." And I went to like my first practice and I got completely smacked. Like, I was put in a coffin, landed on my back so hard. It was first contact practice and no one really told me what to do. So I just got smacked and I was like, "This sucks. I don't want to do this anymore." And for some reason, I went back. But I played my first 15s game with 14 players. We had no subs, and it was whatever. Like, it was fine. I didn't really fall in love with rugby the way like everybody talks about it. I just kind of kept
Mhm.
doing it, and a
Yeah.
lot of my friends did it. So I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I'll keep playing, whatever. But yeah, my freshman year in high school is when I first started playing.
Okay. And when did it turn into like, do you love it now? I guess is the
Yeah,
question.
some
You love
days, yeah. So I go back and forth. I have a very difficult, like, love-hate relationship with rugby because
it.
it's
Hmm.
so simple to do, but it's not easy. Like sevens, it's a numbers game. It makes sense. Find the 2-on-1, execute.
Hmm.
That's it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
So when you talk about it like that, it's so easy to just be like, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. Great. But to actually do it, and the thing is, like, I talk about this with some of our other teammates all the time, is we do this all the time. We do this every day, practice for hours on our passing technique, on our running lines, on fitness, whatever. And sometimes we still get it wrong. And I think that's why it can be really frustrating is like you do the 10,000 hours and you're supposed to be
Yeah.
the master at it, and we still mess up sometimes. So, yeah, I love it some days. And some days I'm like, this sucks. But I,
Yeah.
I love my life. I love the opportunities that I've been given, and I love to have my opportunity to play for Team USA. So that's probably my favorite part about it.
Hmm. When did that become a goal? Because when you went to Life University, did you receive a scholarship there?
Hmm. Yeah. So my graduation day of high school, I wasn't planning on going to college. I was like, I don't have any interest in like getting a degree. I didn't really have any plans. So I was like, I'll just take a gap year and figure it out. And then Richie Walker, who's the former head coach of the sevens program, he was like, "Were you going to college?" And I was like, "I'm not going." And he's like, "Well, that's not acceptable." So he's like, "Just name a college and I'll get you a scholarship." And I was like, okay. So then I tried to go to Central Washington. That ended up falling through. Mel, son of the head coach there, she ended up moving schools. But yeah, I received a scholarship from Coach Roz to go to Life University, and I spent 3 years there, and it was great. It was an amazing rugby opportunity for me. But yeah, I didn't really plan on doing it. I was like, maybe this will get me a degree.
Yeah.
But after that, I didn't really have any plans. It wasn't until kind of my sophomore year that Em invited me out for a high performance camp out in Chula Vista for my first one. And I was like, okay, like I didn't even realize I was at all even remotely close
Yeah.
to being included in the pool of players. Like I thought it was such a far away dream for me that I was like, I don't really think that it'll be for me. But yeah, like one thing led to another, and now I'm a full time resident. So pretty cool. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So was it ever a goal? Was it ever a goal to be like, I want to be on the USA sevens team?
When I was little, I was like, I'm gonna be an Olympic gymnast. But everyone says that when they're like 7.
Hmm.
And then when I started playing rugby, I didn't even like when I started playing rugby, it wasn't even in the Olympics. Like
Yeah.
the first, 2016 was the first year that it was added back in. So like thinking about it in the past, I was just like, I just want to be good at something.
Hmm.
But yeah, especially in these last 4 or 5 years of me, like, graduating high school and going through college, I'm like, "Yes, I want to play on Team USA." So, yeah, now it's a goal every day for me to take out advantage of every opportunity in practice and make every rep, like, the best I can make it, but, yeah, I guess looking really far back, I didn't think I would ever be able to.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like rugby was your plan B and your plan A
Yeah.
was not what was your plan A?
I didn't have a plan. I was like, "I don't wanna go to college. I don't like school." I was over it, but yeah, I didn't really have any plans. So yeah, I kind of just was told like, "Oh, play rugby," and I was like, "Alright, go to college.
Yeah.
Okay. Move to California. Okay." Like, people just telling me different opportunities that I could have, and I was just taking all of them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Going with the flow.
Yeah.
I think my question on top of that is with that type of mentality where like it won't kind of the mentality of it's not going to be the end of the world if this doesn't work out for you, does that take away some of the pressure when you're here being here now?
Um, it should, but not really because now that I've moved here, like my dad thinks I'm just such a big deal and he thinks I'm so cool. And like
Yeah.
my coaches from when I was in high school, they're like, now I feel even more pressure to
Mhm.
perform because it's one thing to be a resident and it's one thing to be invited to camps and stuff, but to actually perform once you get here is so much more difficult. And for me, like I feel like I am super excited and super honored to be selected for the roster for Dubai, but I haven't been able to allow myself to be, like, super excited about it until I'm proud of my performance in Dubai, if that makes sense. So, I still do feel pressure, um, but yeah, I try to disconnect, like, rugby's not everything. Like, right
Yeah.
now it is for us, but I'm trying to, in my personal life, find other avenues of, like, I am more than just a rugby player.
Yeah. I think that's awesome because I feel like it's really important to make sure you have an identity outside of sport in general because
Mhm.
it's very temporary. It could end at any moment. So
Yeah.
it would be a tough time having it end and you not know where you want to go from there. So
Yeah.
I hope this journey is long for you and that throughout that time you
I
have
hope so.
an opportunity to figure out what you really want to do, what you want to do, not what everybody else wants you to do, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. My next question for you is, what are your thoughts going into this first tour? What were your feelings and emotions and the build up to um, the scrimmages with the selections coming out and then getting ready to travel in a couple days?
So I was trying not to stress about selection so much. We did have our scrimmage weeks, and on day 1 of the scrimmage, I was like, "Okay, that wasn't my worst showing, but it definitely wasn't
Hmm.
my best." So I was trying to think of day 2, like, how I could show what I can bring to this team, and then day 2 ended up not being as good for me as day 1, so I was like, "No way I'm going." I was like, but it makes sense to me. I understand. If I'm not selected, I understand because and then I can, like, list everything that I did wrong in, like, every minute of the play. But I had a conversation with Em, and she says sometimes I'm too hard on myself, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
And I think for this tour, I'm just gonna really focus on contributing to the team in any way I can by, like, uplifting my teammates around me. So I'm trying to take my attention away from myself and being so anxious about my own performance and thinking of ways that I can try and, empower my teammates and magnify their talents, if that makes sense. And hopefully that will help me with my own stuff, if that makes sense.
On that, you talked about like you don't think you'll be able to enjoy being selected or enjoy this moment in Dubai until you see how you perform out there. So if
Yeah.
you are putting a lot of your attention into other people's performance, do you think that'll be beneficial to your individual performance?
I mean, with my position being like a playmaker,
Mhm.
as my functional role on the team, I take some responsibility on myself to be directing an attack or organizing a defense. So when things don't go how we want it to, whether it's team continuity is off or like connections off, or if it's individual errors, like I still sometimes I take that too much on myself, and I'm like,
Mhm.
somehow it's my fault that this didn't go right.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that a lot. But yeah, while I do hope to uplift my teammates and stuff, I do want to like look at my own performance at the end and reflect on things that I personally did and what I was in control of, whereas like trying not to control too much of my uncontrollables.
Do you have that support system for yourself? Kind of how you're giving out support. Do you have that on the team, you feel like?
Yeah, I've been playing with Sui since I was 16, 17. Nia, Kayla and I came up through the All Americans and U18s. Summer and I played together in college. So I do have close relationships within our team, and I'm excited to be building more as I'm like one of the newer players coming in with all the, vet residents. So I do have close contacts with a lot of the girls.
Good. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
My next question would be, what has the environment, the professional women's sevens rugby player environment been like since you've been engulfed in it?
It is
Be
just
honest.
about it is just about what I expected.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's hard because I look at other national teams like women's soccer or even gymnastics, even though it's more individual, and I look at their screen time that they get and like how monetized their stuff is and how excited everyone is to watch track and gymnastics in the Olympics, and rugby I feel like has is less popular, not as many people know about it, but there are things that I'm like, "Oh, I've like our bathroom situation." Like we have a bathroom, yeah, and then we have like a porta potty and we have our trailer, and I'm like so grateful for all these things, and I don't want to come off as like entitled, but
Hmm.
playing for the national team, I don't know if I don't think I realized how hard it is to have fundraising for money and stuff and have opportunities that other sports might have just because they have more investors or stuff. And I
Yeah.
know we have people working so hard on the inside to get us those
Hmm.
things and get us those resources. But I just like, you think about professional sports and you think about how much they make in the NFL and the NBA, and then you think about like rugby, and it's so much different.
Yeah.
So it's like to have that eye opener to be like professional sports is not the same across like all sports. So
Hmm.
that was surprising. It shouldn't have been surprising to me, but it kind of was. But as far as the environment and the team, like it's just about as what I expected. Like I've had a lot of different dynamics in the past with player coaches, a bunch of different people come together. Like I said, when I was younger, I played in U18s, U23s in college and whatever. And it would be pools of like a bunch of people coming together with one goal. And that's pretty much what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. I can relate with you on that. I think that's something I talk about in a lot of interviews is how much harder it is in rugby, especially for
Hmm.
women. Like you'll even see the difference in women and male
Yeah.
facilities between rugby teams as well. So we have a lot of growth in our program that I hope will happen sooner than later. And as you said,
Hmm.
a lot of it comes down to money. So I think fundraising is going to be something that's going to be very necessary in terms of getting us the proper lifestyle that we deserve for the hard work that we put in. Because if you think about it, we're putting in the same hours, if not more, than those millionaires on the NBA teams,
Yeah.
NFL teams, and soccer teams. But we're kind of getting the shit in of the stick, and it's tough. But everybody has to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
I will be honest, like you came in at a time where we've been, I guess, treated our best when it comes to the things we have and the environments
Hmm.
that have been provided to us. Because I can say when I came in, we didn't really have none of that.
Yeah.
So it's slow progress, but it's progress. But I definitely agree with you that there is really no entitlement to it. We work hard and we should be um, taken care of the same way that we take care of our organization in terms of performance and representation. So I agree with that. My last question in the base questions is going to be, what is your advice to somebody who wants to get in the position you are in right now?
I guess if I could say anything to them, it would probably be like it's not as far away as you might think it is. Like you think about how popular football is and they start them at like in as early as elementary school, middle school, high school. There's such a huge population of people that play, so it makes sense that you hear those stats like only 3% go to college, only 1% go play in the NFL. But with rugby being such a new and upcoming sport in the States, especially, there are so many opportunities to play in college. Like colleges are trying to build teams, they need more people. So it's not so far off to be like, oh, I could never get a scholarship to play rugby. Like it is possible for anyone, especially like any body type, any skill level. Like a lot of people are crossover athletes. I mean, you were a crossover athlete from track, is that
Yeah.
right? We have a lot of people that come from other sports and you don't really need any like background experience in rugby to even start. So it's really not as far away of a goal as people might think it is. So just try and see where it takes you.
Nice. Okay, so the last segment of the show is the speedster round. I have 5 questions for you. You're going to answer them as fast as you can, okay?
Okay. I'm
Okay,
nervous.
don't be nervous.
Okay.
First question, what is the weirdest food combo that you enjoy?
Doritos and chocolate pie.
Are
I
you
didn't know there
kidding
was going to
me?
be follow-up questions.
Okay,
I
okay,
I was ready to speed round them. Okay, next.
okay. Do you think aliens exist?
Yes.
Would you rather go on vacation to an island or to a campsite?
Island.
What movie can you watch over and over again and never get tired of?
Get smart.
Which one of your teammates has the best hair?
Mm, I'm gonna say I already messed up this. I really like Mata's hair. Very curly. I wish I
Mata?
had curly hair. Yeah.
Voila, that is the speedster round. I thought you did well. We're gonna have
Thank
to
you.
talk about the Doritos and
Doritos.
chocolate
Yeah.
cake.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. But this is Spiff Sedrick. If you're looking for her on Google, look for Alex Sedrick. I want to say thank you so much for joining on the show. I'm really happy and excited to have you as my teammate and looking forward to going to Dubai and playing out there for you and helping you in any way I can possible to make you feel confident out there because it is scary at times. So if you ever need me, reach out. You know, I'm only a couple steps away. Before we head out, I would love if you could share your Instagram or any social media platforms you have so that people can follow and stay in touch with your journey.
All right. Yeah. I don't have a Twitter, but my Instagram is SPIIFFF.
Okay, so I'll make sure to put that at the bottom of the screen. You guys, make sure you follow her, check out her journey. I'm really excited for her. She's already done so great in the rugby community, and I only see bright lights in the future. Thank you, Spiff, so much for being here,
Thank
and I hope you
you.
have an amazing day.
Thanks. You too.